Welcome back, everyone. It's April 11th, 2020. This is Jerry Hall, and these are my thoughts from Costa Rica. Here's a peek at live coin watch for the crypto markets as of this moment. And there's no surprise, we're down a little bit. I have a thesis on this. Although the crypto markets aren't directly connected to outcomes in the legacy markets, whether they be stocks or bonds, what appears to be happening and playing out here is that a lot of the same practices that have existed in the legacy markets for a long time have entrenched themselves in this market. What do I mean by that? Real quickly, what I mean is that players have come into this space over the last couple of years implementing the same practices and methodology that they brought from the legacy markets. I'm talking about the use of leverage. I'm talking about margins. I'm talking about coming in and taking products and leveraging them in ways that when volatility enters and margin calls are brought to bear, liquidations need to happen. So you have that element. Then you have the element of, well, even very sound investors who are taking losses in one area of their portfolio, who've used leverage, will have to go to their winners, liquidate their winners to cover their losers. These are all functions of using credit. When you hear margin, just think credit. They're either shorting on credit, longing on credit, and volatility is a dangerous force when you're dealing with margin in markets. Anyway, it's just something to think about. This is a quick peek at Seeking Alpha, and I put this up, and I hope it's readable for all you folks because it shows the close of business Thursday. Biggest Friday, obviously, was a holiday, and the standard markets, legacy markets were closed. That the legacy markets had a really nice week. Why is that? Nothing has changed fundamentally in those markets. Credit has been weaponized and used to inflate valuations beyond any kind of reasonable justification. We saw the market pull down 2 weeks ago, yet it's rebounding all this past week. It's very interesting to me. This is a dangerous place to be playing games right now. None of this really makes sense logically. Obviously, there are players who are using this time to profit. And I don't have a problem with capitalism. Trust me, I don't. I'm a big fan. But I can tell you from what I understand and the people that I listen to, this recovery that we're seeing this past week in the legacy markets is not real and it's not sustainable. And I don't care how much or how many assets the Fed buys up. Head on a swivel, as Brad Kimes says, folks. Head on a swivel. This is getting crazy. Now, I believe, it's important to understand the environment that we're in. This came from the Real Vision daily briefing that I've signed up to. And it talks about basically, should they release us back into the economy to go back to work? Outcomes that we could be looking at, worst case scenarios, and this, that, and the other thing. If you're really, really interested in this, go to the New York Times. See what you can dig up. I'm just showing you some snapshots that basically is telling us that we have not really peaked yet. These overall potential scenario outcomes, unmitigating means they don't do anything. Mitigated means what they're doing now is with the shelter in place. Again, folks, the best defense you have, wash your hands. Be careful around others. But most importantly, take care of your bodies. If you've never given, a rat's ass about nutrition and how the body works in the past, maybe it's a good time to start learning. Understand, try to learn as much as you can about the immune system and what feeds it, what strengthens it. And on the flip side of that coin, what hurts it? What damages it? What weakens it? There is good, solid, sound information out there available to anybody with an internet connection. If you're watching me, you have one. Let's move on. I'd really like to get positive here. Here is a liquidity index graph. This monitor for market liquidity is I'm following this person just because I find it really interesting. The truth be told, I'm not clear on all of the dynamics that go into making this particular index, but I'm glad somebody's putting their math skills to work and their charting software to good use, because Lord knows I couldn't do it. Let's take a look at some actual real measurables here. And this is not one of them. This is the old liquidity index box. Now, on Friday, we had all three of the major players graphs up on Twitter, and that is the Coins PH, which is the XRP to the Filipino peso, the BTC markets XRP to Australian dollar, and the Bitso XRP to Mexican peso charts, all showing exponential growth this past week. I'm extremely encouraged. I hope that you are too. If you're an investor in XRP, it's fun to connect dots. It can be very interesting mental exercises to speculate on what this could mean or that could mean, how this may materialize or that may materialize. But at the end of the day, all of us have to, at some point, be a realist. And the realist inside of me is very encouraged by the metrics that show the actual use case of my investment being utilized in enterprise grade flows. This trend, I hope, continues. As volumes increase, demand for the asset will increase. As demand for the asset increases, then the market should reflect the value. So here's to going forward, folks. I hope you enjoy your Easter weekend in whatever capacity you have it. And until next time, Pura Vida.